You know, sometimes cooking can be stressful. You got guests coming over, you got to make this nice meal, you got to juggle a whole lot. There's all sorts of time management involved. And, you've probably got some time, don't worry. Oh, I can't do this! It's been too long. This won't be 15 minutes. I'm panicking. Should I turn this on? No, probably not. Whoa! Welcome to the pressure cooker. I'm Chef Noah. Today we are going to cook 6 recipes in just 15 minutes. Let's get ready. So first we are doing banana cookies. Next we are making a veggie frittata. Then we're going to do a Mexican quinoa dish, kale and butternut squash salad. Finally we're moving into the entrees of our dinner, which is a maple glazed salmon. And last but not least, roasted carrots. So let's come over here, get started with those cookies. Cookies are real simple. We're just gonna mash up 2 bananas and 1 cup of oats. Put it in the oven at 350 for 15 minutes. You can add anything else you'd like into this. I'm gonna add some coconut flakes too. So you can just use a fork to mash this up. Have one of your cookie sheets ready. Mash, mash, mash. Pretend you don't like this banana. Cool, toss in your oats. Awesome, now we roll it up into a ball, put it on our cookie sheet. Make sure it's a little bit greased. I'm just gonna use some coconut oil. Throwing in some coconut flakes, then we can move on to our next dish. Just small little balls here. This will come out as a great snack that you can have for breakfast or any time of day. Try and make them all close to the same size. Not a big deal if you got some big guys and little guys. Awesome. So we're going to toss this in the oven, 12-minute timer at 350. Cool. So now that our cookies are cooking, it's time to start on our salad. Kale, goat cheese, apples, all the good stuff. First step over here is going to be chopping our kale and getting that in the oven. So we are going to use our knife, cut off the stem, cut it in half, use a spoon to scoop out the insides. Ooh. Get rid of that gunk. And so this is going to take a little bit longer to cook. I know everything is supposed to take 15 minutes, but this might be 20 to 30 minutes at about 400. We can raise the temperature right after those cookies finish up. And a lot of people peel their squash before they start, but you can just cut around the skin. No biggie. Get these gooey insides out. Again, doesn't have to be perfect, just try and get the seeds out. Cut this bad boy into some strips. Little bite-sized squash pieces. Once we get this in the oven, we can make our salad dressing. Wrap up with this recipe. So when you're cutting, just kind of cut little edges around so that you have nice little bite-sized pieces of squash, and we're going to toss those on another oven tray. Make sure to grease it up first. So this is kind of a tedious part. If anyone has interesting stories to tell me about now, that'd be great. Okay, so now we've got all of our squash ready. Drizzle a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of salt and pepper. twist it around, and we put it in the oven. Probably be some leftovers on this squash. Cool, now we're gonna make the rest of the salad. So you've got your kale, nice and drained and rinsed. All of these recipes will be available to you. Look at this beautiful squash. Let's add that into our salad. Yum. Try not to melt all the cheese if you have any idea how to do that. I don't. Mix it all together. Add a little bit of your salad dressing if you can remember where you put it. I can. Good. That's a yummy kale salad if I've ever seen one. We're on to recipe number 3, which is our veggie frittata. If you got a tomato, definitely add that in. I forgot it. Come over here. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is chop up our vegetables. Take your pepper, chop up the nice green parts, leave out the yucky white parts. Ooh, there's a pepper within my pepper. Dang, look at that. So usually you'd put in tomato too. No worries, just work with what you got. Chop it up into little cubies. And then chop your chive. I'm going for about a tablespoon, so maybe 2 chives. Chop, chop, chop. Looks good. The green part we can save to garnish. Cool, now let's whisk our eggs together. Last one. Okay, whisk it up with a little bit of salt. Shake, shake, shake. Alright, now we're pouring this into our vegetables and throwing in a little bit of cheese. This is about a half cup. Whatever you got, make it work. Alright, chop the cheese. If you have shredded cheese, you'd probably save a whole lot of time that I've been spending doing this. But hey, it's all part of the beauteous cooking process. Okay, so we've got our cheese incorporated. Got a little bit to sprinkle on top. Again, throw in a tomato, any other vegetable, it'll all turn out well. Put this into the oven at 400 for 15 minutes. 15 minutes in the oven. Check on it once it looks, you know, like it's cooked. You can go ahead and bring it out and it'll be nice and delicious. Oh, and make sure that you have it covered if there's a rubber spatula handle. You don't want that melting. Awesome, so our cookies are done. Now we've finished our salad and our frittata's cooking. It's time for us to make the salmon and the potatoes. Let's start with these potatoes. You don't have to peel them, just make sure they're washed. All you need is potatoes, butter, and honey. It's time to make the carrots. So all you need is 2 tablespoons butter, 2 tablespoons honey, and your carrots. You have the option of using a stovetop or the oven for this one. You would cook it in the oven for about a half hour. I'm just going to cook it right here on the sizzler. You turn it on to about medium. You've got your carrots, which are washed. They are not potatoes, despite what lots of people say. You don't have to chop them or anything. You've got your 5, well, it could be 5 or 6, depending on how you count. Throw them down. Put in your 2 tablespoons of butter. Add your 2 tablespoons of honey. Urgh, my hands are too buttery. No! Tablespoon 1. Tablespoon 2. Ah, that one's heaping. Cool. Add some salt and pepper, and that's all you need for this recipe. Super simple. They'll be done when they're tender. Use a fork or a knife. Stab it in there, see what happens. Sprinkle on your salt. Awesome. This is what it'll look like when you start. Keep an eye on it, keep mixing it. If it's in the oven, mix everything together first. Woo! I guess we can do that now, either way. Yum! I'm sure you want to touch all this food after my hands have been all of it. 5 recipes are cooking. It is time for 6. Our salmon. We're going to make the marinade first. Maple syrup, orange juice, mustard, all the goodies. Some garlic. Yum, yum, yum. Oh, you know what? I never made my quinoa. I should probably get on that. First, let's make this marinade. Ah! This is a hot mess, not a cold mess. Cheese. So we're going to use the juice of 1 orange. We've got our orange juice. We have got our maple syrup, 2 tablespoons. Awesome. Now we're gonna use whatever mustard we've got remaining. Woo! Again, the goal is about a tablespoon or 2. I think 3 teaspoons makes a tablespoon, if my calculus is correct. And then you add your garlic in, mix it up. We're just gonna smash this garlic. Let's do 2 cloves. Finally slice it. Doesn't have to be super small. We're gonna put this on our salmon. Cool. Mix this bad boy up. Now we're gonna let this sit for just a few minutes before we put it on our salmon. And in the meantime, I'm gonna show you the quinoa recipe that we're working with. Now we're making our quinoa, Mexican quinoa. So we've got corn, salsa, beans. I'm using rice. You can use quinoa and some cumin and beans. Yum. Move all this over her. So, saucepan. Put it over like medium heat. Alright, so first we're going to saute our corn and beans. 1 can of beans, 1 cup of corn. When we got our beans, that go with the corn. I'd toss in just a little bit of olive oil here as we saute it. Great. And then we'll add in 3 cups of rice. 1 cup. 2-ish cups. Whatever else I got. Woo! Cumin, I think about a tablespoon. Mix it all together. Let's get back to our salmon. Woo! So, for the salmon that we know and love, you're just gonna brush a little bit of your marinade sauce on it, toss it in the oven. Everything is kosher, no meat. Just paro fish. Cool, we got our marinade. Let's take a look at our frittata. Oh man, that's gorgeous. Throw a little bit of your green onions. And then our carrots are all done as well. They are looking absolutely fantastic. We'll just double check with a fork to make sure. Yep, nice and tender. Quinoa is looking nice. There we go. That looks like it's all done to me. So while the salmon's cooking, if you have some leftover marinade, you can heat that in the microwave or on the stovetop. You don't want to burn it, you just want to reduce it into a glaze a little bit. So we're done now. Salmon just came out of the oven. We've got everything ready. Let's take a look. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Here we've got our banana oatmeal cookies, breakfast frittata, salad for lunch, the kale and butternut squash. We get our quinoa, wild rice, beans, Mexican style, and for dinner, carrots and salmon. And the salmon just came out. I'm gonna put some of this final orange juice in here, mix it up, nice glaze, pour that glaze up over your salmon, and we are good to go. This could be better. Alright, that'll do it. Thanks for joining me. Come back next time for another edition of Pressure Cooker! I started cooking because I didn't really have any pets growing up, so I had to find a hobby. I just kind of like this bag of potatoes, you know, it became my best friend. So my mom was cooking a lot in the kitchen. She got me involved. My sister was always a chef. I've elevated my game above both of them, but you know, they'll never see this, so it's all good. But I just love turning raw ingredients into something delicious and healthy. And I worked in a restaurant for a little bit. Don't tell anyone, I was mostly washing dishes there, but yeah, that's kind of what got me into the game, you know, me and my delicious little pets. You know, sometimes cooking can be stressful. You got guests coming over, you gotta make this nice meal, you gotta juggle a whole lot. There's all sorts of time management involved, and you know, when you're cooking for a big group of people, it's not easy. I've definitely had my breakdowns, my panic attacks, but hey, at the end of the day, you make it work. You gotta figure out what you're cooking. Oh shit, I have stuff beeping. I need to go.